interrupting the intro music. Welcome, Internet and fellow friends, to the 2021 Y.E.S Awards, where we award things that don't mean anything, but something at the same time. We want it to mean something, but yes. So, we have myself, Garrett, aka Rico, California. On my left, Ryan. Get yourself in the camera, Ryan. Wave. And hello to everyone who's streaming over there. Welcome. Ryan, be sure to remember to include and make sure everyone says hi. We have Devin, aka Pretzel, coming in to help us out as well, to make some interesting comments and to just be my pal. I love you, man.
You're welcome.
I love you. We got Tanner Gehring, aka Leatherwolf, to also help out with the camera and include some interesting topics. Everyone's going to do that, actually. And we have Aaron, aka Pandutch, on the ones and twos and everything else that makes music awesome. The most underrated DJ of Rexburg and the most awesome DJ that the West Coast needs to know about. And the world eventually. So, how was 2021 for everybody?
Not too bad.
Not too bad. I guess that's the best attitude that I could have.
It was 2021, and yeah,
it could be worse.
It could have been worse.
Yes.
It is a year where I firmly agree it could have been worse. I've been telling everybody lately that 2021 felt like an extension year of 2020. It's just like, we just added a little extra for you. No reason, just a little extra.
Whether we wanted it or not.
Yes, that's also very, very true. So, let's get into these topics of what we would like to talk about for the year. I messaged you guys about a couple of different topics. Let's make sure we get into one. I'd like to do one of the countdowns at the beginning, but let me double check that we didn't... if there's one that's maybe more positive that we'd like to get into. So let's see. The topics I sent to everybody. Okay, so actually, we'll start off with the resolution. So, name one resolution that you're okay with sharing with me and the internet, obviously, that you think you're going to try to be better at. Goal or change. I can go first if no one wants to volunteer. Ryan, you just shoved your hand, so you get to go first.
All right. Let's see. I'd probably choose better at reading my scriptures.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to do better at that, and maybe do a better job at going to the temple.
Okay. Worthwhile goal. I appreciate that. Who made the next gesture? I don't know.
Well, I've got two.
Okay.
I need to join a gym again.
Okay.
Because pre-2020 I was doing that.
Fatty.
And then I finished school, and then my gym closed because of COVID. So.
All right.
And now I'm out of shape again. And then the other one, I wanted to learn how to ride a motorcycle this year. And that's kind of in progress already. But,
Okay.
yeah.
Very cool. Very nice.
Definitely got the suit in, and like the look.
Yeah?
This is true. Well, he's been acquiring a lot of clothes that just work with it, so
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Because in order to do lessons at Harley-Davidson, you have to get all the gear beforehand.
Really?
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Devin, how about you?
Well, for me, I want to focus on speaking up, just saying what's on my mind.
That reminds me of a goal I had the other few years ago. I made a goal honking more in my car because I felt like I was endangering people by not honking. But that's a good goal on the personal level. So good for you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
You get to...
I get a gold star.
We'll get that for you after.
We'll give you several.
Okay. Van Dutch, how about you?
Do you want to do more like PR stuff?
More PR
Yeah,
stuff.
more into like the public relations side of what I'm actually doing.
Yeah.
And the goal is always like 2020 was kind of that skip year, but it was like always to have more and more gigs each year. And so like 2020 kind of like put that damper, but getting back into it. Last year got back into it more. So
Yeah, good. So the one I was thinking of, I have a couple that I've been writing down, but I think the one that I'll just share on the internet is I'm going to try to travel a little bit more. I think I know that can be potentially envisioning, that's hard, but I think the locations I'm thinking of are in fact going to be probable. So I'm going to, whether it's with friends, family, I want to do 1 or 2 by myself also, where I just like, I'm going to go somewhere, even if it's just like vernal, and just check it out. I don't know. I'm just going to travel a little bit more than I did this past year. So that's what I got. And we have a lot of topics, some positive, some negatives, some kind of in between. We're going to go with the pseudo in between first. So there's this award that, this is a top 10 list that I created. I don't know else how to put it other than I'm calling it the Aw Man Awards. Now, if you've seen Toy Story, you remember the scene where Buzz Lightyear gets the rocket taped to his back that Sid was working on, but all of a sudden it starts raining, and he goes, "Oh man!" That's what the award is. It's just about disappointment, not about tragedies, just disappointments. Okay? So
Sid Phillips reporting.
Very true. Ryan, any comments or any mentions right there? No, that's fine. That's fine. We'll get them on. So let's get a little track going. And this is in not necessarily a particular order. The last few are kind of placed in an order, but not really. This is just 10 entertainment moments that I felt were kind of letdowns. And so we're going to get into that. So let's cue the music. All right.
ready?
Yep. All right. So here we go with number 10. What do we have here? Yes, Coldplay. The reason that this is on the list is because I felt like there were so many people who disliked this album. And there are the diehard fans who love this album that are trying to defend it and yet are puzzled by it. So, I don't know. Just people who love Coldplay wanted this album to be good, and it was just kind of meh. Do you want to have the music a little bit? Maybe a little bit? Nah, there we go. So, yeah, I just decided, okay, Coldplay was... I don't think it's a bad album. I understand. So it's kind of a aw man moment because the people who love Coldplay couldn't unite on this one. So there we go. All right, let's see what moves into number 9. I actually don't remember the order of everything, so here we go. Number 9 is, okay, Chris Stuckman. Chris Stuckman is still making movie reviews, but he decided to stop grading them, which I understand why he's doing it, because now he's becoming a producer himself, and he doesn't really want to, I don't know, he wants to create good relations. I think he doesn't really enjoy grading movies anymore, but the problem is he was so good at it. He was really good at diagnosing why a movie's good, why it's bad, and he still does that, but it was kind of nice having that cherry on top with the grade at the end, so I just thought I would include that. I miss his grading system. Okay, number 8. What do we got at number 8? Daft Punk disbands. That broke my heart. Aaron, you got anything to say on that one?
I was just so surprised and so sad.
Yeah, I was like, we're not going to get another one. We're not going to...
Yeah, they're not going to go on tour again, because
Yeah.
it's just...
It was... I was let down. They made a very good video for how they were exiting. Kind of long and quiet, but... It's just one of those situations of it is what it is, but I wish it hadn't happened. So long. Alright, number 7. What we got? Tim Tebow tries to make it onto the Jaguars team, and people had some hope, and he got cut. Now, I'm not saying that he should have made the team. If he didn't deserve it, he didn't deserve it. But it's like... he gave hope to so many people, and I just thought, oh man, that would have been really cool if he had gotten back on the team. again, I'm not trying to defend him. I defend him as a person. As a football player, that's a different thing. I don't have the technical knowledge of whether he is worthy or not. It was just kind of a letdown that he didn't actually make the team, because it was kind of interesting that he had gotten this far. So that's my 2 cents. What do we got? Number 6, right here. Carly Lloyd from the USA women's team is retiring. She is the only female soccer player that right now I strongly defend, because she's one of the only ones who is kind of sane on that team, or at least is not a whiner. She's not a self-entitled brat. Sorry, I don't mean that for everybody, but some of the ones that are outspoken are wrongly outspoken. Tanner kind of knows about this situation a lot. So yeah, so I was just like, aw man, she's, again, there it is, aw man, retiring. There we go. Okay, we'll be moving on to number 5. Cam Bertrand auditioned for American Idol. Sorry, for America's Got Talent. And I don't know, was he not the funniest one in the audition?
I got Pinot Grigio!
And he didn't make the live shows, and I was like, what went wrong? Or what? All the judges laughed really hard. I don't know what was wrong. I thought that was wrong.
Fantastic.
He was fantastic.
And he even has a special on
Dry Bar
Dry Bar.
Comedy.
Yeah, no, it's really funny. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Oh, you're
It
welcome.
was really good. But yeah, that was a disappointment. Hopefully we get to see him in the future. But yeah. Okay, number 4. Stardust. The app Stardust, where movie reviews went out of business. It got deleted. And I was very, very sad about that. That's the only way I was reviewing movies. But never fear. This year I am planning on doing movie reviews along with album reviews. I'm planning on doing a whole slew of new entertainment stuff. But this was a fun app to use. I was sad to see it go. So that's probably more of a me thing. Not many people I know it, but still. Number 3. Conan O'Brien retires from late night. He was one of the last really good ones. I still like some of them. I'm not a fan of maybe everything that they're doing, but there are some that still have moments. But Conan O'Brien was still pretty consistent, and again, aw man, that was kind of a disappointment, but
His podcasts are still pretty funny.
yes, he's still doing that. Number 2, Aaron Rodgers did not get the Jeopardy hosting position.
And he really should have.
He was really good at it. Like, I don't mind. Does anybody know her name from Big Bang Theory? Amy Farrah Fowler? I don't remember her real name. I wish
It was an interesting name.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Indian or what, but I read it and I was like, huh, how do you say that?
I don't mind that she's one of the hosts, or I'm a little lost on what is going on right now, because they were supposed to have 2 hosts and one of them had an incident and is no longer there. But Aaron was actually, like, I'm not like a huge Aaron guy, Tanner is, but I actually thought he was okay at it. And I was like, I wouldn't mind seeing him do this again. But yeah, dang it. We didn't get to see Aaron move on to be a permanent host. And 1, Lionel Messi no longer is in Barcelona. There's probably plenty of people here in the States that don't care about international soccer, aka football, but this was a tragedy for everybody. Okay, we're not supposed to use the word tragedy, and aw man, but for so many people, like, he was trying to stay with the club, and nothing was working out. So that's just sad. He had to move on. I think he's going to a team in France now, but it's just weird. It's just going to be weird not seeing him in a Barcelona uniform. It's just really weird. And look how sad he is. My gosh. Oh my goodness. All right, now that's what we got for Aw Mans. Does anybody have a comment on any that I included, or maybe another that I had not thought of?
I kind of said mine along the way.
Which one was that?
But just when I added commentary to what you were saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You probably knew most about Cam and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So there's that. Devin, you got any comments on what I just included there?
No.
No? Okay.
Aaron?
I think an all man moment. I'm like debating whether it should go in the no or whether it should go in the all man. But the all man for me, I know a lot of people don't agree with me on this.
Okay.
But a big all man moment for me was the show, the Marvel shows on Disney Plus.
Okay. Like they didn't live up to your
I
expectations?
didn't love most of them, and I definitely didn't like some of them. But I was just hoping for a little bit more.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I don't have tons of insight on those, so I unfortunately have to gloss over them just a little bit.
But
Terry, you watched some. I know, Ryan, you watched some of them. What about you, Kevin? Did you watch any of those?
I've seen all the Marvel TV shows. Let's see, I think I like Hawkeye the most.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Can I say any
Hawkeye was
spoilers?
fantastic.
Probably shouldn't say any spoilers. But there was someone in there, the show, that I'm just like, oh man, he was there, and then he went. So
Okay, there's a moment in there. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll have to get to that.
I
part.
probably said too much now, but
That's okay.
Like I understand what they're trying to do, like the cool tie-ins with like the movies and stuff like that, but just the way that they're written, I feel like Marvel's big struggle with their movies is like the comedy, and then versus like the plot, and so there's like a big point where the plot gets like left out for the comedy, or like the dramatic tension is just immediately like broken for just humor. So that's what I find is the big issue. Like I found some of the episodes of like Marvel's What If to like be just kind of like SNL. Like it was just like how many jokes can we get in an episode? And I was just like, is this all that this show is? Like, and there were some really like cool episodes though, like in that. But I feel like that's the big struggle, like with the shows. And I mean, it's a struggle with the movies at times too. But yeah, the shows I feel like it has a little bit more lift.
All right. So I hope everyone thought of this one also. One entertainment moment that you really liked that you thought was kind of under the radar for the year. Anybody have one that they thought of immediately?
What did I
Be
say?
checking your phones.
Yeah. Gotta
wrote it
check
down,
all of our
swear.
lists here.
All right, Ryan. You thinking? Okay.
I actually do have one.
Okay.
I have a list. I've got 4 entertainment shout-outs.
Okay.
So first off, Brantley Gilbert and his single "Gone But Not Forgotten." I don't mean to get political here. I'm not going to go that far, but he put that song out right after the troops came back.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and that was a great song. And then Chase Wright, I've been following him since about mid 2020. Put out his first album this year, and I thought it was really good. Garrett reviewed it. Rockstar Games put out a new DLC for GTA 5 called The Contract, where they brought back Franklin from story mode, and it was a fantastic DLC. I love playing it. And then my last one, T-Pain and his reaction video for How Is Pranjit Formed.
So
38 plus 2 weeks. Pregnant!
Okay, spoiler alert. That was mine. So now you know. Okay, but that is true. That is a wonder to behold. I will have to link to that one because everyone should see that video. It's so funny.
It's true.
Anybody else?
I got a few.
Okay.
Okay, so Diddy's former Beverly Hills mansion is for sale.
Okay, I think I heard about this. You might have told me about this.
Yeah, it's being sold for currently $14.5 million.
Okay.
And I looked at the photos and yeah, it's pretty nice.
The man builds wealth.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be on camera or make a big hit. He's just got the business for it all.
He's pretty smart too. He's
a very smart guy.
very smart. Let's see. So there's that, and then there's a show called Kim's Convenience. It's about this Asian family that's running a convenience store, small little grocery store, and yeah, it's funny. It's great. I recommend it to people. I haven't gone through the entire like series yet, but yeah, I first saw a clip of it on TikTok. I'm like, oh, dang, this is pretty good. So yeah,
All right.
so and nobody's really talking about it.
Yeah, it's been like feel like most people, like if they didn't know Simu Liu from Shang-Chi, then like they know him from Kim's Convenience. It's like one of the main things that he like stars in.
Okay.
It is really funny. I'll say that.
True.
And then one last thing, Apple's now doing a self-service repair program, which means you don't need to go to a go to a cell phone store and have them repair it. You don't need to go to Apple themselves or, I don't know, maybe Verizon, T-Mobile, or whoever to get your phone fixed or something. You could sign up for this program and they'll give you the tools and you can fix it yourself. There are like some limitations to it. Let's see, it needs to be at least an iPhone 12. Let's see, the newer generation iPads. I can't remember exactly which one. It's just one of the newer ones. And then they don't have one for their MacBooks yet, but they will eventually. It's going to be for the M1 chips.
All right.
The ones with the M1 chips. So.
Cool. Aaron, did you have something?
I probably will think of one. After.
Okay. Ryan, how about you, Ryan?
Not really, but I actually just forgot to mention an aw man moment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can
All
go
right.
for that. And after that, you can tell us about your 3 books. Ryan's going to talk about books of the year. Do
Right.
that.
Okay, so the all man moment that was last year was, so there's a video game I actually play on my phone, but they took it down from the App Store and it's no longer there. So the game is called Wizards Unite. You probably have seen me play it a few times.
I think I've heard
I think
this
you've
one.
shown it to me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've
Wasn't it like Harry Potter themed or
Yes.
something? Yeah.
Which, okay, as you guys know me, that's probably not too surprising. That
And that's why we call you Ravenclaw.
yeah. But yeah, they took it down, and I'm feeling, oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Now
right. Yeah, let's get into your books.
the 3 top books I'm going to be mentioning are, let's see, I can actually bring them on Audible.
12 seconds later.
Well, seconds later, or at least close.
I just wanted to do that.
It was perfect. 70 seconds later that the old narrator got so they hired a new one.
Okay, the first book I'm going to mention is a book called Project Hail Mary. So, it's by the same author as The Martian, if you've
Okay. Yeah.
heard of it. So, the author is Andy Weir. And so, in this book, pretty much, so actually, I'm going to show it to you guys on screen. So, kind of what it looks like.
It's not too bright.
It's not too bad, but it's
Gotta go on
so pretty much. So a lone astronaut must save the Earth from disaster, and so there's like a band of radiation coming towards Earth, and this astronaut, he's just a typical high school science teacher, and he has to work with NASA and the government to figure out how to stop this band of radiation. And while he's still on Earth, he finds out that there's a like some type of alien creature, not very like sentient alien creature, just like algae. Pretty much space algae that lives in this radiation that's coming towards Earth. And he has to figure out how to like save the Earth. But the only problem is that he can't remember his name or his mission and what he's supposed to do. So he has to figure out, like, what in the world am I supposed to do? Now.
Bit of a sci-fi Born Identity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kind of. And then let's see. The second book I'm going to mention is called Constance by Matthew Fitzsimmons. So the gist of this book is, so in the near future, advances in medicine and quantum computing make human cloning a reality. For the wealthy, cheating death is the ultimate luxury, and to anti-cloning militants, it's an abomination against nature. For young Constance, or Con Darcy, who was gifted her own clone by her late aunt, it's terrifying. After a routine monthly upload of her consciousness stored for that inevitable transition, something goes wrong. When Con wakes up in the clinic, it's 18 months later. Her recent memories are missing. Her original, she's told, is dead. If that's true, what does that make her? The secrets of Con's disorienting new life are very deep, so are those of how and why she died. To uncover the truth, Con is retracing the last days she can recall, crossing paths with a detective who's just as curious. On the run, she needs someone who she can trust, because only one thing has become clear. Con is being marked for murder all over again.
Alright. And just out of curiosity, did you write that or are you reading a synopsis?
I wrote that.
Okay, just want to make sure. Wanted to be as precise as possible. Because if I caught you, I would play this.
Understandable.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. And then third one is House of Holo. And House of Holo, okay. Forget by Crystal Sutherland. So, pretty much there's three sisters. Y.E.S, Holo, and her two older sisters are unquestionably strange. Ever since they disappeared on a suburban street in Scotland as children, only to return a month later with no memory of what happened to them, odd, eerie occurrences seem to follow in their wake. And they're changing. First their dark hair turned white, then their blue eyes slowly turned black. They have insatiable appetites, yet never gain weight. People find them disturbingly intoxicating, unbearably beautiful, and inexplicably dangerous. But now, 10 years later, 17-year-old Y.E.S Holo is doing all she can to fit in. and graduate high school on time, something her two famously glamorous, globe-trotting older sisters, Gray and Vivi, never managed to do. But when Gray goes missing without a trace, leaving behind bizarre clues as to what might have happened, Iris and Vivi are left to trace her last few days. They aren't the only ones looking for her, though. As they brush against the supernatural, they realize that the story they've been told about their past is unraveling, and the world that returned them seemingly unharmed 10 years ago might just be calling them home.
Alright. Now say those again, like the 3, 2, and 1, like in order. Just the titles of the books.
Okay.
So.
Number 1 is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. And number 2 is Constance by Matthew Fitzsimmons. And then number 3 is House of Holo by Crystal Sutherland.
Okay. And you think, and those all came out this year?
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure, because that's what
Yep.
we're reviewing, 2021. Just want to review out those. Because I know that you read a lot, and you've got your whole library. Did you take your books with you to your apartment, or are they with your parents still?
Not all of them. My
Probably couldn't
roommates
fit 'em all in
would
the
be a
apartment.
little concerned if they saw how much books I own. You've only gotten a smidgen of an idea of how many books I own,
Yes.
and also over Christmas break I got a lot more. I'm so happy. And my roommates are like, "You want books for your birthday and Christmas?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do."
It's what makes them happy.
It's true.
Just gotta do it.
And so, why I have these books as my top 3 is, so for number 1, the science behind the book is really, really cool. So it describes, it has a fantastic description and fantastic detail of space travel. And in this book, the main character, he has to be like put to sleep as he travels through space. And it also describes the very accurate feeling of like when you wake up from the sleep, your body is very weak. You can only eat certain foods, and you have to like slowly like eat more solid foods as you get stronger. And as someone who has had surgery, that is a very accurate feeling, because when you get up from the surgery, when you wake up, you are very sluggish. You have to slowly like get your health back up to like your normal health. And pretty much like when you wake up, you can't just, hey, I want some solid food. I want a typical hamburger. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. Your body will immediately reject it, and so in the books it describes very well that feeling. And so next is Constance. It's also a science fiction book. And
Not to be prude, Ryan, but if you can make them a little bit quicker, because each camera has to be on a quicker.
We're getting down to about 3 minutes. So.
Yeah.
okay, I'll be quick with this one, and then I'll get to House of Holo. So Constance, as I said, is a science fiction book, and for someone who has a father who teaches science at a high school level, I've always enjoyed science. For some people who have who are watching and who are from Heber, you guys totally know my dad.
I was in his dad's class, freshman
Sure.
year of high school.
Yep. For those who don't know, my dad is Scott Ward, and he teaches chemistry. And with like cloning, they did actually mention a bit of chemistry and typical science, and it's really cool. And with this book, it also plays as a thriller / mystery. And so, as you read the book, or how I did it was listen to the book, I was totally at the edge of my seat and just waiting for the next thing to happen. And the House of Holo also kind of plays as a thriller / mystery, because with the one sister totally disappearing out of, and just with no clue where she is going or has gone, it definitely plays like a mystery. And it's definitely got that like mystery aspect with how and like what happened to the sisters during their childhood when they disappeared, and because the author doesn't give much detail on what happened between that month they disappeared. So I would definitely suggest reading those books. So again, it's Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, Constance by Matthew Fitzsimmons, and House of Holo by Crystal Sutherland.
Cool.
Back to you.
Thank you for sharing those, Ryan. I appreciate it. All right. I know the two of you kind of had a topic about TV shows you wanted to talk about. And Tanner, was there a topic? I'm trying to remember if you had one.
You wanted me to list my top 5 favorite movies of the year.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
And my least favorite.
Yeah, we're going to do that for everybody. I was trying to remember if there was a singular thing that we had for you. Well, before we get into those, let's give out the No Awards real quick. So we're going to go into a little bit of a negative feel, but these are things I feel like I have to comment on. There's dumb things that happen in entertainment. It doesn't mean that these entertainers are forever doomed to be bad people forever. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying this year they did some things that I didn't appreciate or that were not conducively positive for their realms of entertainment. Now, I feel like I should be... Hold on, let me see if I have any dishonorable mentions. While Eric gets the music ready, I want to make sure if there's anybody that I should just include. Okay, I know of at least 2. So first, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, they continue to do their weird stuff that tries to make them seem like victims from the royal family. I don't buy it. I don't know why other people do. They never mention anything specific. They just sound like professional victims, and I don't get it. Okay, and this is another one that can't make the list because it was only one moment, but the world needs to know about this. So Steve-O from the show Jackie had probably the weirdest Halloween costume this year.
Oh my.
He asked his fans to send him bags of their own pubes so that he could make a Yeti costume out of his fans' pubes.
Why?
That's the reaction everybody should be doing right now.
Why?
I don't know. He wanted to be a pube monster for Halloween. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense. There's a lot on here, but we don't need to get into that.
There's a fine line between weird and creative.
Yes. Okay. So.
And then there's just creepy. That is creepy.
Yeah, as well. Okay. Let's get into the official No playlist. You can turn that up a little bit, Aaron, if you want. Alright. So let's get into the top 10 no's. Number 10, we have Jada Pinkett Smith. Yes, Will Smith's wife is on here. Because of that reason. she and Will Smith are in a weird spot because apparently they have an open marriage, and they had a talk, one of those interviews that talked about it, and it's mostly on her. I don't personally believe Will Smith wants an open marriage. It seemed like they were arguing but trying to be kind to each other at the same time. I know that they had a rocky moment in their marriage a few years ago or whenever it happened, but it just seems weird. It doesn't seem like Jada is really wanting to be purely faithful. It's just a weird incident, and the reason it's on the list, I mean, if this was just a private family matter, it wouldn't make the list. The reason it's here is because they made a whole ordeal and interview about it. It was just kind of weird, and I'm just like, this is really disturbing. So, because you purposely made it public for us to consume, that's why it's on here. Okay, let's move on to the number 9 spot. We have Naomi Osaka, the tennis player from Japan. She had, I guess, some success in tennis this year, but she had a lot of moments where she cited that she was not at her best because of mental health. Now, I am not disputing that she does not have mental health problems. That's not what I'm disputing. What I'm disputing is the excuses for it do not make sense because she's blaming the media for most of the situations that she's enduring, and yet she still wants to be on the cover of Sports Magazine and do all these other things, but she blames the media for she doesn't want to do interviews for some reason. And just throughout the year, it just seemed like she kept creating excuses that just didn't seem as legitimate. I'm not saying her mental health is fake. That's not what I said. I'm just saying the excuses don't add up. And it seems like this is becoming popular for a lot of other athletes right now, and probably for other entertainers too. But she kind of started it and kind of continued with it throughout the year. So that's what I got. Okay, number 8. We have the entire channel of YouTube. This is going to seem hypocritical because this is where I post my primary content.
Wait, is this like an actual YouTube channel or is it like the platform?
No, the entire platform.
Okay.
Mostly because they disabled the dislike button. Now, I don't care about the dislike button all that much. I barely use it. At one point, probably 2 years ago, I probably never used it. I don't know. I don't know how often I use it. But the fact that it was the reasons they gave for removing the dislike button were just bonkers, and it doesn't seem legit. It seems like they're trying to do a cover-up for some other people. It just was weird, and it doesn't make sense. Thankfully, there are ways around it. You have to get special tech to see dislikes. There are some channels who do that just to show other people. But yeah, YouTube, it seems like you're not being very consistent with a lot of your things out there.
Wait, what was the reason for that? Like,
Posit number 7. So they said that it gives, I think that they said that they were trying to discourage people from like mob disliking other videos. And I'm just like, well, that's going to happen anyway. Like, just because we don't see it doesn't mean we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying me like included, but like there has been a moment where I'm just like, oh, I heard about this video that might not be cool or something like that. Maybe I'll check it out and see if I change my mind.
because Facebook got rid of the dislike, right, as well, like thumbs down. A while back, way back, right?
I think that was way back when.
Did they ever have that?
They still have the angry emoji.
Yeah,
That
but
was
that's
years ago.
Yeah, it was like a long time ago, and I was just like, and when the YouTube did, I was like, oh, so they're like kind of following suit. That's what Facebook did a long time.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's just kind of a weird ordeal. I just don't buy it.
No, I totally agree. Like if like, give me my 2 cents. Like I like it like not because I hit the dislike button a lot, but like just for like my own channel because I do like video game stuff. I just like seeing like the ratio of people who like the video like versus like how many people dislike it because then it gives me a better way to gauge.
Well, you as a creator, you can still see your own dislikes.
Yeah.
You just can't see other people's dislikes.
I want people to see how many people dislike my video.
Yeah. See, the ratio matters.
Yeah, it matters.
It's like, it's nice to know that you have a lot of likes, but if the ratio's not there,
Then how are
you supposed to know? Yeah, it's like deleting all the negative reviews on Yelp or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, you don't want those, but hey, maybe they have a point. Who knows? All right, let's see who number 7 is. I'm trying to remember. That's right, Colin Kaepernick. So
Heavens.
the football player.
Whoop-de-doo.
The football player. So the football player who no longer plays football for 4 or 5 years now. This is not a political thing that he did, although it can be interpreted that way. The reason he's on this list is because now he has his own Netflix special, and there's a lot of things. Like, I didn't delve all the way in it, but I did look into a couple more things. The most popular thing that people started ripping on him for is that he compared the NFL draft to slavery. Yeah, it's like, no, the NFL draft is voluntary, you moron.
Yeah.
It's not compared. Like, yes, they check if you're a strong fellow. Yes, they check to see if you can do the job for them. But NFL owners are not slaveholders. They're not the same thing. There's no comparison. You're a dumb twit, and you... Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're still making money, you moron. Anyway, that's a little tirade I got. Hold on, I gotta do a little something for that. That's for you, Colin, you moron. Okay, let's get on to the next one. At number 6, we have Seth Rogen. The reason Seth Rogen makes this list is because he basically said that cancel culture is not real. Again, another thing that is not meant to be political. But let's just be real. There are people who try to do this, at least on Twitter. Okay, like, I don't know about swarms of mobs that try to stand out of places, looking at you people who are at Netflix that are mad at Dave Chappelle. You people suck too. But yeah, I don't get some of the things that he said. It just makes it sound like he's not living in the real world. I mean, most people in his realm aren't, but I digress. And also, the very weird and sad TV show Santa Inc., where it's basically just a vulgar version of Santa and talking about how men shouldn't run the Santa's workshop anymore. Kind of a stupid premise, to be honest. So, can't get on board with that, so Seth Rogen makes the list. Let's see. Number 5 is Stephen A. Smith. Now, Stephen A. Smith, something went wrong with the show First Take. Max Kellerman was on the show, and I'm not trying to I'm not trying to invent a story. It seemed like Max Kellerman was basically kicked off the show in order to do some other radio thing so that he could hog all the glory for himself. He also said a lot of dumb things about Tim Tebow and just making things way out of context out of football, and talked about a couple other things in the realm of basketball that just didn't sound right. I think he's just saying things to be outlandish, and I know that he doesn't believe everything he says because he has said some things in the past that I think, oh, I agree with that, and then he deletes it. So, he's kind of in hot water with his takes right now, so I put him on the list here as well. Number 4 is Rob Manfred. Who the heck is Rob Manfred? He is the commissioner of the Major League Baseball. This is the guy who canceled the All-Star game in Georgia and moved it to Nevada. This, again, another thing that I'm not trying to get into for political reasons, but it does revolve around it. None of those reasons make sense. They don't align with the claims. Georgia really lost out on a great opportunity for a great game. He also just never fixed a bunch of things. There was a lot of pitching scandals that were taking place this year. Guys were using substances in order to try and make their pitches better, or just some things weren't aligning up, and he never really took action in order to resolve what was going on this year. Now, this was kind of a fun year for baseball, but it could have been more clean and more non-problematic if he had actually just stepped up to the plate. Now, this could go for a lot of commissioners this year for sports leagues, but I feel like Rob Manfred was kind of the one who had the worst take. That's just my opinion. Okay, number 3 right here, we have Travis Scott. Travis Scott had an unfortunate situation where a number of people died at one of his concerts because there was like too many people mobbing in, mosh pit and things like that. And he didn't stop the concert. He heard some things and he tried to keep the concert going. I think he's trying to apologize for it. I don't know how sincere he actually is about it because apparently he has had a history of this going on previously where accidents happen at his concert and he keeps rolling with the punches. And like, come on, dude. Like, I know you want to perform, but you gotta take care of your fans. Also, a lot of the symbolism in the concerts, people kind of have an issue with. I mean, not the people attending the concert venue itself, but a lot of people are pointing out it's kind of messed up, some of the symbolism that's going on there.
And I don't have a lot of love for the guy anyway.
So there's a lot there. I don't know. We can get into that later. Okay, let's move on to number 2. Number 2 is Christy Teigen. Yes, this is John Legend's wife. Christy Teigen was caught and called out for sending text messages that was encouraging models and other actresses to commit suicide. Like she was just saying, yeah, you should do it. I think it was in part because she was trying to steal roles, or maybe she just didn't like them. I'm not 100% sure. But she basically just went along with the premise of encouraging other girls who are competitors to kill themselves. This is another thing where I'm like, I have to define this. Yes, this still is within the line of entertainment. Because it is her competitors. It's not on the movie set, it's not on a photo shoot, but it did happen within the boundaries of entertainment. So, there you have it. And the number 1 no entertainer of the year is Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X had the weirdest gold makeup thingamajig for that gala that took place a few months ago. He created and sold Satan shoes with human blood in them, with the devil symbol on top of it. He made a terrible satanistic worshiping music video, and it also happens to be my number 1 worst album of the year. Lil Nas X, you've done a terrible job. And one more thing. He was on, I believe it was The Breakfast Club, talking to Charlemagne. He has another title, but I'm not going to call him that. And they talked to him about, like, what was the difference between when he was doing Old Town Road that was clearly more aimed at kids, and now he's doing all this hyper-sexualized new content, and saying, what do you have to say to all the parents who feel like you're misleading them? And he basically said, I don't care. So yeah, number 1 for a billion reasons that I can put on here. Goodbye, Lil Nas X. I don't care for your stuff. Thank you. Anybody? Comments? You got anything to say about stuff on there? You look like you have a perplexed face there, Aaron.
There was just, yeah, you mentioned a lot of like big things. There's just like the encouraging suicide is like so disappointing.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those things that so many people struggle with. It's really unfortunate.
Right now, especially.
Yeah, like especially since like we just, like 2021 just passed and then 2020 was right before then, so like a lot of people were like at home and just like stuck with their thoughts. And so it was not a great time for a lot of people for the mental health wise. And so and we're still in the midst of that. And so just encouraging that.
Devin, you got something to say?
Oh no, I'm just, we all know that, text messages are pretty monotone when you're reading them. And so when you were saying about her encouraging these actresses to self-delete themselves, what exactly is the context of those messages and how close is she to these other women?
They were pretty explicit. I'd have to pull them up, but I remember reading them. They were pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Yeah, we could.
So pretty dang bad, right?
Yeah, it was, just kind of imagine casual high school girls, like the everyday high school, like the stereotypical ones we saw on TV or in
Mean
movies. Sure, let's go with that. But taking a couple notches up. Mean Girls is a good example. So, kind of like that. Just kind of messed up and sad.
Okay.
Yeah. Ryan, did you have anything?
Not really.
Alright. Derek?
Well, this might be considered more of an oh man than a no,
Okay.
but just the whole Alec Baldwin situation. I've really felt
Yeah.
bad for the guy.
Yeah, so the reason I didn't include him on the list is because that seemed like a situation that didn't, I mean, yes, it was on an entertainment set, but it didn't seem, I still can't, I still have no clue, like, yes, accident, or it seems more of a tragedy rather than a thing that...
I mostly
really
just feel bad for the guy. Like, I watched the Hulu interview that he did. Like, I understand where he's coming from. It's just a messed up situation.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that I could have put on there that would have been tragedies or other things. There's a lot of domestic abuse stuff that happened in football and a couple other sports that I found out, but I wanted to keep those out because that seems like that. Like, yes, that happens, but it didn't happen on the field or the plate or wherever. And so I'm just like, okay, yes, I condemn those things, but it doesn't actually revolve around entertainment. Again, it's like, try to keep it within that scope. But yeah. Okay. So I'm going to move to Aaron and Devin. You guys want to talk about any TV shows that were kind of worth talking about this year? Seemed like something you both wanted to chat about.
Yeah.
And Aaron, didn't you also say you wanted to mention something about video games also?
Yeah, just like a little brief mention. Just
Okay.
some like really, really good games. Like I don't play a ton of video games anymore, unfortunately. I just don't have the time.
Right.
But I did want to mention, first one, Hitman 3. Like I had never played a Hitman game before like last year. And then like they did the kind of like a free trial, and then like they'd have like one every like once a week for like each month, where you could like play a certain level from like one of the first 3 Hitman games, and I was like, okay, sure, I mean it's free, why not? And I tried it. It was super fun. I'm still pretty bad at it, but it's super fun, and I love it. And it's just like it's very creative. All the environments look like amazing. All the locations, and I can't like recommend it enough. It's a very like intrinsic game. So absolutely recommend that. The other game that just came out in December is Halo Infinite. And
I heard good things about that.
yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, the multiplayer is super fun. They had to work out some kinks with like the whole experience and leveling and whatnot. But I've been playing the campaign as well, and like the story it's fantastic, and it's like dive right in. Like if you know a lot of like the backstory, of course, it's gonna like hit you more. So I recommend like playing previous Halo games, but if you haven't, it's great.
All right. Then you want to get started on TV?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So, it's like I know you wanted like a top 5, but I can't really put this in order because
That's
some
all
are
right.
pretty different. So
Yeah.
this is just a top 5 in no particular order.
Yeah, that's fine.
The first one is Cobra Kai. They came out with season 4 earlier this month,
Yeah.
and I was
You mean now in January or December? You mean?
January,
Oh, okay.
and yeah, it's really good. Just continues on with the story, and it looks like there's going to be another season. So season 5.
Yeah.
So that'll be really interesting when that comes out. I don't think they announced when, but yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Another one, let's see, the second one is Call Me Can't Communicate. So, you're laughing.
It's pretty silly. So
It's silly. It's an anime.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
it's actually like a pretty good show. It tackles the topic of social anxiety, and you get to go kind of like almost like in the mindset of someone that struggles of talking to other people. As like all of us, it's pretty easy to talk to someone that's new. But with someone that has like severe social anxiety, it takes everything out of them just to say hi.
I've recently met a few people who kind of had that, and it's strange. It's just like, it's easy to maybe be personable and friendly, but it's like, okay, how's this conversation actually going to go? it's kind of awkward sometimes. You just gotta see if you're willing to endure with it. It's interesting.
Okay, and then third one is Agretzko. They came out with a season 4, and this is about it's another anime. It's about this red panda that's an accountant, and she's just going through life. In season 4, she finds that there's this new CEO that's being somewhat of a tyrant, kind of abusing his power, and so then it's just kind of goes on the topic of like, if someone is above you, what exactly are you supposed to do when they're doing things that they really shouldn't be doing?
Okay.
And then fourth one is Hawkeye. So I didn't mention it earlier. Hawkeye is pretty good. They're bringing some characters in there, and some of them were quite surprised too. So I'm glad that they were able to bring those people in and see how everything connects.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad that of all the original Avengers from the MCU, if Hawkeye's not going to get a movie, at least give him a good TV show.
Yeah, at least give him a TV show.
Yeah.
I think he deserves that.
Yeah. So I'm pretty happy to hear that right now.
I'm gonna fire some shots and say that it was better than the Black Widow movie. I just have to put it out there, man.
I didn't think it was that bad.
It wasn't a bad movie.
I
but
did
it
not
wasn't
like it.
impressive.
Now, I
to be
didn't-
honest.
I didn't hate it, but it's not going to be in my top 5 that we're going to mention later. So
Yeah.
just saying the truth. They had moments. They had moments that did make me laugh, but again, moments in plural, but not that high in plural. So
Yeah, and that was one of the movies I saw. Of course, it came out this year, so that was on my list. But of course, can only choose 5, so I had to whittle it down to just 5 movies. And Black Widow got cut from it, but it's still a good movie.
yeah. Also, just as a side note, it's kind of a funny thing. Like, I don't remember when it was released, but it was left in theaters for 2.5, 3 months. Like, they really wanted as many people to see that movie.
Yeah.
And
That was still by Black Widow, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that they lost $600 million?
just on that one.
Off of just pirating.
Oh crap!
Yeah.
Oh, people pirating.
Yeah, people
Oh.
just pirated it from the stream, and so it was just,
That really
Oh,
sucks.
yeah.
See this? Yeah. Oh man. Yeah,
That's too bad,
That's too
yeah.
bad. Yeah. Sorry, ScarJo. Love you. Really do.
Yeah.
You gotta. Did you have one more?
Oh
show?
yeah, there is one more. It's Haiji Hyro, something like that.
Is that another anime?
It's another anime, of
Okay.
course.
Yeah.
Sunshine, it's supposed to be
Don't worry,
anime.
I got a few too, so you're not alone.
Okay, thank you. This one is pretty interesting. It's different from other animes that I watch. This tackles another more serious topic. It's this just a normal working guy. He's walking home one night after being rejected from someone that he likes, and he sees this high school runaway. She's just sitting out there in the street under a street lamp and whatnot, and he ends up taking her in. And I guess according to Japanese law, that is illegal. You cannot have a minor come into your home unless you have the parents' permission. And so that also kind of comes across another topic, which is yes, this is the law, but sometimes it's a bit complicated. What is the morally right thing to do? And so there's also other opportunities, because unfortunately, she was selling her body to live from place to place, and she comes across this guy and says, "No, I'm not going to do that. That's wrong." And so it also comes across the other topic that even if the opportunity is presented to you, what do you do? What is the morally right thing to do? And so you go through the whole series and whatnot. And I was looking a little bit more online afterwards, and this writer wanted to have a type of show or an anime where it's teaching young boys how to be a man, a figure for somebody to look up to. So, yeah, it's really good. I recommend it. So,
That's some in depth right there.
yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Cool.
All right.
Aaron, did you have any?
I got a few.
Okay.
As far as TV goes, I would say I really liked Inside by Bo Burnham, the Netflix special. I thought it was incredibly funny because he filmed it during 2020, the whole pandemic.
Oh, right, yeah.
And it was just like him and like editing and whatnot. And Bo Burnham, if you aren't familiar with Bo Burnham, he does a lot of music in his comedy. And so just from a musical standpoint, his stuff is really catchy. And
Isn't it like music comedy?
Yeah, music
Okay, I think I know what
comedy.
you're talking about. I think I've
Yeah.
seen this.
And he does
He's
a
very
lot.
popular on TikTok.
Yeah, he's like, especially after that special came out, like just
Oh,
all over the place.
I think Andrew Clayton did a
everywhere.
review of his content.
I think you showed me that video.
Yeah,
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, because I think Andrew talked about like how he thinks it's really funny, but on certain topics that he talks about, he's just like, I don't know if I agree with that, but I think it's hilarious.
Yeah,
So,
he does a lot because he understands how musical melody and stuff works. And so he handpicks a lot of like the key stuff that is really popular. But then he lyrically and even melodically, he likes to turn it on its head and subvert it. And so like you're expecting one thing, but then he'll change it up and be like, all right, now this is actually what I'm going to talk about. And so it's super interesting and kind of fascinating, especially since like everyone went through 2020, and so everyone like has an experience, and there's usually something you can relate to, like in that special. Another TV show I thought was really funny was MODOK on Hulu. It's like a lesser known Marvel character, definitely not in the MCU at the moment. But it has Patton Oswalt as the voice actor in person, and it may not be this type of humor for everyone, but he just like goes, and it's just like joke after joke after joke. A lot of like 90s, early 2000s referential humor, and so if you're familiar with the media of that generation, you'll definitely understand what he's talking about for a lot of it. Or if you're just familiar with the MCU in general, they pull in a lot of like familiar characters from the Marvel universe and a lot of unfamiliar ones that most people don't know about too.
alright.
Castlevania Season 4 wrapped up very nicely. As someone who's only played very little of Castlevania, the video game, I would recommend the entire series, honestly. There's so many good anime that came out last
True.
year. So I'll just pick a couple more.
Right. Just as a side note, that's also going to be a goal of mine. I don't know how hard of a goal it's going to be, but I do want to watch more anime this year because my brother has watched a lot and he's just really trying to reel me into it. And I mean, I know at least the two of you are really into it, and it's great.
I like it too.
Yes.
I will be honest, anime has a lot of tropes in general, and so there's a lot of things that you will find recycled. And so you have to kind of go through a lot. I guess it's the same in any media. Like there's just a lot of the same stuff that happens in a lot of media. But if you kind of cycle through and just like try to find the really good stuff, there's always good stuff around.
Yeah.
One of those I really like was called Oramiya. It's more of a slice of life anime, and it's basically this girl finds out about this guy that she goes to school with, that he doesn't look anything like he does when he's at school, and he's like completely different, and his personality is like kind of similar, but the more that she gets to know him, the more she finds out like that he's actually like has a lot going on, and that he's a very interesting person. And so yeah, slice of life, like if you're not into slice of life every day kind of life kind of anime, it might not be for you. Wonder Egg Priority is another really great anime. This one deals with the topic of suicide, but in a very unique way, and in a way that it's not super tacky. It has a little bit of like the magical girl flavor, where you have magical, mystical weapons and whatnot. But the main, and I don't want to give too much away, but it goes over why people commit suicide and a lot of the reasons that they commit suicide, and how it affects the people that they leave behind. And
That is interesting.
and it's got a flavor, a little flavor like fantasy and action.
It's a little fantastical.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's got like a spice of magical girl in it.
Okay.
It's like it's it's a more serious show, but it has like light moments as well.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
funny-
I'll have to look into that.
It's funny the way you mention that because you hear that phrase where people who try to, like, I'm not saying this is right, but they kind of take this approach of telling other people when they are considering suicide, it's just like, how could you be so selfish? And I'm like, that's probably not the best way to go about talking about that, but that element that you talked about, like seeing the effects of other people, like, well, that might be a way to maybe change someone's mind.
I would definitely recommend that to everyone.
Alright, cool. I'm excited about anime all of a sudden. I'm game now. I'm really game for it. It was a very strong part of my childhood, high school days, and some of college as well. But yeah, after moving up here to Utah, I haven't really delved into it. My brother's really into it right now. And I've just been missing out, I feel like. I've watched a lot of videos that talk about more recent stuff, and hearing you two talk about it is like, oh, I'm missing out on a lot of stuff right now.
Like you'll have like your popular stuff like One Piece, and right now Demon Slayer is like
Demon
the big
Slayer,
thing.
yes, that is the big
Okay,
thing.
yeah, I need to get into that. Or
Is My Hero Academia still running?
It's still going, yeah.
Okay.
It's still going. That's another huge one.
Yeah.
That's one my
Just
brother
like
says
it's-
I would be most interested
It's a
in.
huge one, and it's very, very good.
Yeah.
I
The
myself
small
really
things that I
enjoy
have
it.
seen have interested me. I just don't know what the
Mhm.
storyline is. Like, I know some elements of it, but I have no idea, like, what are the characters' motives, or who are the
Pretty much
beginning
Heroes
characters,
School.
new characters moving forward. Like, I don't know that part. But, yeah, okay. Where are we at right now? Okay. Before, let's see. I'm sure we can get into a couple other things. Actually, so I wish I had a slide for this. I really want to do this. When I was in high school in marching band, we had a thing called the Oops Award. Every year there was someone in band for the season who committed a blunder of some kind. Like one year there was a performance we had, and one of the drummers left their drum at the high school when we had taken a bus to another place.
Oh no.
There's always something that happened this year, so I want to include an Oops Award moment here. Now I have a few nominees. I wish I could have found more. I'm sure that there are people who had blunders. I'm going to mention 3, and then I don't know if I'm justifiably going to crown the right one, but I'm going to talk about them all the same. If anybody thinks of something that happened this year, I'm like, whoop, that's a blunder right there. Like maybe a popular Oops Award would have been Justin Timberlake with Janet Jackson at the Super Bowl several years ago. It's like, whoop, that happened. So something like that.
She's got a documentary coming
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
It's on Hulu.
Oh, is it now?
Well, like there's a documentary about that incident.
Oh,
Yeah, I know some people are probably saying that should have been treated more harshly, and I'm like, yeah, but still, it's like I don't think that was intentional.
Yeah.
So okay,
Who knows, honestly.
yeah, okay. So first 3 nominees. Do you want to play something?
I got you.
It's like this is going to be very short, but I just feel like maybe we should have a little
I'll
music
just
for this one.
Put a little bit of something. Let's go here actually. We'll go back to this.
Yeah, this is a good one. Okay, so 3 nominees. First, there was a game. This is great. I wish we could play the clip. I probably should link to it down below. Such a beautiful moment. So Javier Baez made a great hit or bunt or something like that in a baseball game, and they were playing the Pirates, and the first baseman easily could have gotten this guy out, but he didn't tag the base. Instead, he just chooses to run toward home plate and try to tag the guy out. But in the meantime, another guy's on third base trying to score home, and all of a sudden, whoops! I don't know how to finish up the out. And so nothing happens, and so the guy gets a point of hitting home base, and then the guy he should have tagged out gets to second out of nowhere. It makes no sense whatsoever, and I don't have the name of this guy. I should have prepared that, but yeah. Meyer Leonard played for the Heat for a while last year. I think he got traded to the Nuggets, I believe. He has an Oops Award because apparently he used a Jewish slur on Twitch. And but the problem is, he didn't do it intentionally. Apparently he had never heard the word and other people were saying it on Twitch and he just decided to say it, but since he's a celebrity, we're all going to blame him instead. And unfortunately he got traded, and it's so fun. It's sad and it's funny because a situation like that, it's just like, oh, I'm sorry you didn't. It's like, we've all been there. You ever say something in front of your parents and you didn't realize you shouldn't have said that? Like, maybe that doesn't sound as realistic for a basketball player, but he is a young guy still, and so I forgive him because I think he did do it unintentionally. So there's that. But the guy who I give the Oops Award to is a guy named Garrett Cole, who plays for the Yankees. And he got caught in a kerfuffle about that baseball pitching that I talked about earlier. Apparently there was a lot of pitchers that were using substances in order to help them throw the ball. And he got into an interview and kind of admitted that it was okay to say it without trying to admit that it was okay to cheat.
Oh no.
So it was just a really weird interview. I'll have to link that also. It's just ironically funny. I have to give him the Oops Award to Garrett Cole here. So yeah. So now we're going to talk about, everyone has one movie that they saw that they did not like, and then name at least, so maximum 5 movies that were your favorite. If you don't have 5, that's fine, but your 5 favorite movies of the year. And were there any other topics that we should have gone over before we get to the entertainers of the year? Anybody think of anything that you just want to mention?
Entertainers of the year?
Yeah, so it's the Yes list, top 10 Yes entertainers versus the No that we had earlier.
Oh, I have something to mention.
Okay, go for it.
So, one of the openers for the Porter Robinson concert that we went to was James Ivey.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, he released his first full EP towards the end of the year. I think it was like in October or November. And I listened to it, and I think it's great. Honestly, all 5 tracks are fantastic. I think there's 5 tracks.
I'll have to give that a listen because there is so much music I did not get to this year. For those of you who follow my channel, know that I posted like a bunch of videos in December just to catch up. So I don't know. I know what happened this year. I was busy. Really.
Well, you were making thumbnails.
I was making thumbnails.
You were making your channel look good.
Yes, I was.
You were investing your time in it.
Yes. And I will be working on thumbnails again this year because I have, I'm keeping them the same, but now I have all these new outfits that I want to like do a photo shoot again. But after my haircut, then I may adjust my beard, spoiler alert, but I don't know. But we'll see.
That's what you said last year too.
I know, yeah, we'll see.
Right. Oh, yeah, sorry. The EP is called Good Grief.
Good.
By
Oh,
James Ivey.
yes, I remember that.
Yeah. So, yeah, Good Grief, the thing that Charlie Brown always says.
Yes. He was a, I don't know what the right word is, like, it's not just charming, like, he seemed like a decent guy.
He's just, like, very, like, well, especially when he was performing, he's just, like, very down to earth.
Yes, that's the best way to say it. He seemed like just a regular guy that happened to have a connection with Porter Robinson and perform, or like,
he's just like, oh,
his booking agent or whatever.
I'm here. He's like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I like to do. Thank you for showing up and stuff like that. It's just like very cool.
What was the song that he covered from Porter Robinson?
He covered Something Comforting.
He did, yeah. Man, I love so many songs in that album. It's hard to choose a favorite. That one is probably my current favorite right now, although I've gone through phases. Tanner knows this because I made him listen to a lot of the songs early on.
Oh, you've loved Porter Robinson since like the beginning of the year.
Yes, it's very true.
I think he's your, like, I don't know, you haven't said this, but I think he's your big yes for the year, like overall.
So what was your favorite album?
It's my favorite album. It is my favorite album of the year. So there is that. Yeah, if you didn't know that, spoilers. That's alright. Okay, anybody else? Any other moments? Or should we just go into the movies? Alright, let's do this. Alright, Brian, you first. What's your least favorite movie of the year?
Very interested to hear this.
I'm very curious.
Because you are
when
very
Brian doesn't
easily
like
entertained.
something, it's always interesting.
And I find you very easy to entertain. Like, I don't mean that in offense in any way. I just find you very, very easy to
It's
entertain.
true. Let's see. I actually can't think of any movie that I didn't like.
Okay.
Unless you guys can think of.
Is there a movie you like less? Is there a movie you went to the theater and like, I wish that was better?
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Alright, what was that?
So the new Venom, I was kind of disappointed about that one.
Really?
It wasn't as good as the first one.
Okay.
I kind of have to agree with that too.
Interesting. Yeah.
It had
Yeah.
its moments.
Yeah.
And it was
Yes,
funny. but-
It had
yeah.
its moments and it was funny, but like it definitely was not as good as the first one.
Okay.
The first one was phenomenal,
Yeah, you really, really like that one. So,
hence why I buy it.
yes.
And like I thought the storyline was a little wasn't as deep as the first one,
So
so I was
murky?
kind of, pardon?
Never mind.
So I thought it was kind of disappointing. But yeah, now the
We'll get into the best in a second.
best one.
Yeah, we're doing everyone's worst first. Who wants to go next?
I already said mine.
Wait, hold on. Which one was it again?
Black
Black
Widow.
Widow. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't watch a ton of movies this year, like ton of new movies, to be honest, this year. But it rated. I was very afraid. Let me say, when that was like the first MCU movie of the year, I was very scared.
Mhm. It makes sense just because of the transition that was taking place. I get that. Yeah. I just side note for me. I actually saw 15 movies in theaters this year, which is a pretty good for me. I'm trying to see more. I have not hit my goal of 20 movies in a year yet. But even then, like I don't think I'm ever gonna get to the Chris Stuckman level of reviewing movies because I don't want to see every movie in theaters. I just don't. But I do want to get more into that just because I want to find movies that I can recommend. Because there are movies that go under the radar, as I will allude to later, that I think other people should watch. But yeah. Okay. Who's...
Well, Snake Eyes came out this last year, and I wanted to like that movie so bad because I love the character.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was
my
pretty
problem, well, you did like it, yeah. My problem with those movies, though, I knew there would be inconsistencies because the first two films are full of those, so I was expecting that. But the story was just so rushed. Like they got to their point, but really too quickly. And then this is sort of just a me complaining type of thing, but I felt like the first two movies are kind of known for their violence.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't really bother me. But in Snake Eyes, they censored like almost all of that.
Like cutaways?
Yeah,
Things that?
like cutaways, cropping it off the screen, all that different stuff. So
Okay.
I really wanted to like that movie. I had really high hopes going in, but it was not good.
Like, how did they hide stuff?
Oh, like they would like crop it off the screen.
Oh, just off,
yeah,
like, off
stuff
screen.
like that.
And he's like,
Off
You ever
camera, you know.
You ever see the original Mortal Kombat movies?
I saw the first original Mortal Kombat.
Okay, so you didn't see the second
I
one.
haven't seen the second one.
Yeah, like the movie is like cropped up where you like can't see anything.
Okay.
So
I get it.
it's
I was like wondering, is this like VidAngel end of like cropping where it's just like next scene? And I'm like, oh, okay, what happened?
Like,
Great.
they just tried to censor everything. Is how I felt about
Okay.
it.
Okay. Devin, how about you? Yawn. Hold on. Dang it! I wanted to use an effect.
Too bad.
Yawn longer.
Too bad. Too late.
12 seconds later.
Dang it! I don't even know which one I would have chosen in that one. Okay, there we go. I just threw something out there.
Let's see. So mine, it's unpopular opinion.
Okay. No, it stirs things up.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
I did not like Dune.
Yeah.
I did not like it at all.
I thought
it was
I'm
hard to
actually
follow
with you
along.
there.
The audio was terrible. I could just not really hear it all that well. And so I'm going through this whole movie and whatnot, and Zendaya is like you're waiting for Zendaya because she's in the trailer. She doesn't come until like maybe the last 15 minutes of the movie. And so, but yeah, like the only thing I understood out of it is like there's this spice or whatever, and whoever controls the spice controls the world or something like that.
It's basically their version of fuel, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then like this kid is supposed to be the chosen one, but it's out of line. It's not tradition because it's supposed to be a woman, and he's a guy. So that's just about the gist that I got from it all. And the guy that plays like Aquaman in the movies, like he's
Jason Momoa.
yeah. So he's in it, and he's supposed to have like this strong connection with the kid, but I just couldn't feel it or whatever, just because I just did not know the background of like their relationship or just like the whole movie in general. So I would give it another shot, but it's gotta be something with like good audio.
Maybe you need to wait until the second part comes out and maybe watch them back to back. Maybe. Because I have some things that I will say about that movie, but like in a different context. But no, I get it. Some people felt conflicted about that movie. Some people love it. Some people
do love it, yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. Okay. Now for me, least favorite movie of the year. This is a movie I was really hoping I'd see in theaters. And then I think it went in theaters for some places, but then it went totally over my head. I never saw it for something placed on the movie theater. Like in the megaplexes, and I'm just like, wait, this movie's, it's not in theaters anymore, what happened to it? And all of a sudden, it's on Hulu, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'll watch it on Hulu. I'd rather see it in theaters, because the trailer just seemed so charming, and I'm like, this will be fun to see something else that's just kind of lighthearted. It's called Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar. It just seemed like a casual, kind of fun movie. This is one of the most misleading trailers I've ever seen for a movie ever. It's so weird. It's about these two middle-aged ladies who, just want to take a vacation, try to recapture some youth or have some fun, and that part's true in the movie. But there's this whole entire plot with like a secret evil organization that's trying to destroy this city in Florida. And I'm like, where the heck did that come from? I had no idea what was going on, and actually, to be honest, while I was watching it, I fell asleep for the last 20 minutes, and I'm like, I'm not going back to rewatch it. Like, it's not happening. I'm not doing it. Oh my gosh, that was so disappointing. Now, I will mention two dishonorable mentions super quick. I wanted to see Red Notice in theaters. Tanner told me, no, it looks dumb. And so I watched it on Netflix instead. Yes, it's a dumb movie.
Yeah, I just saw it last night.
I mean, I love Gal Gadot, but
Gal Gadot, Dwayne
just
Johnson,
not.
and Ryan Reynolds. Sounds like a pretty cool combo.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad movie. It's just not a good movie.
It was odd.
Yes, it was just an odd. It's just like, oh, I guess we'll make a movie kind of thing.
Yeah, because I saw it just last night with one of my roommates. I'm like, hey, it looks totally good. And we saw it. He fell asleep. And I'm like, I might as well just watch it. And yeah, it was odd.
Yeah. And then one more dishonorable mention. There's a movie called Blithe Spirit I saw earlier in the year. I don't think a lot of people know about that. It's a movie
You might have mentioned it.
I'm sure I mentioned it, but it's a movie I totally wish I could have loved. It takes place in like the UK in the 1920s. It's got clothing and aesthetics and a set that's beautiful. I just don't care about the story. It really doesn't make sense at the end, and it makes me sad. There's a lot of good people and a lot of good actors in it. But yeah. Okay. Top 5 favorite movies. Wait, are we good on time? What do we got?
We got about 7 minutes.
Okay. So everyone, just say top 5, and then if we need context for any of those, we'll do that. Let's go this direction.
Probably just say one. Just saying.
So, top 5 movies. I have Sing 2. And then Free Guy. Absolutely hilarious. Loved it.
Free Guy was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man was a really good movie too. I love the way they tied everything in. It was brilliant.
That's what everyone's.
Fast and Furious 9 is on there just because 8 was so bad. They don't really seem to know what they're doing ever since we lost Paul Walker. But it was better. It was a lot better.
A
Movie.
lot better. It was really good.
And then I put Shang-Chi on there as the last one. I went into that movie with very low expectations, and I was impressed with it. It was better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, same here. It was, I don't love it, but I'm like, okay, that was better than I thought.
Yeah.
Aaron, how about you?
Because I figured that most of the ones that I would have mentioned would already be mentioned, so I'm only going to say one that I'm not sure anyone will mention. So I really liked The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide
The
Squad.
Suicide
Yeah,
Squad,
that one came
yeah.
out this year.
And so
Oh, man.
it was just subverted my expectations. Like there was just a bunch of things I was like, oh, I mean, minus a few. Like there's only a few predictable things, but it was very hyper stylized in James Gunn's wacky way.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was like a fun romp like throughout, and felt like it was like along with like Spider-Man. I felt like it was like what a movie should be.
All right. Devin?
Let's see here. So, let's see here. There's Shang-Chi.
Okay.
I thought it was good. I didn't really know what to expect of the film. So, I know that Marvel does pretty well with like lesser known heroes and
Yeah,
make
they
it
can
turn
still-
into a good movie. Like Ant-Man, for example. Not a whole lot of people know about Ant-Man. And it turned out pretty successful.
And that movie was hilarious. I
Yeah.
loved
Yeah,
it.
no, I like it.
Yeah, so I kind of like went in just an open perspective and just not expecting much or, well, just not knowing what to expect. And then Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yes.
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 That better be on your list too.
It was. That's why I didn't say it.
Okay, and then there's Free Guy. It's got
Okay.
Ryan Reynolds with it. Pretty good. Godzilla vs. Kong.
Okay.
That came out like
That was
earlier
like
in the
March
year.
or April. Pretty
Something
early
like
in
that,
the year.
yeah. I thought it was really good. Again, I wasn't really knowing what to expect, but I really liked how they portrayed of just like Godzilla and Kong. It's like you don't know what they're saying, but just like nonverbal cues,
Yeah.
you get it.
That dynamic I get.
Yeah. And then there's Encanto, or however you pronounce it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I watched it when I was over in Pennsylvania visiting my sister and her family there. But yeah, really good. It's got some songs that are like really catchy, and they'll stay in your head for like at least a day.
Like Frozen stuck or
Or good stuff.
or good stuck.
I guess you would say Frozen stuck.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well,
I'm sorry.
I'll have to see it. I wish I'd saw that earlier on, but I'm still willing to go see it.
It's good. I recommend it. It even just like sparked up like some discussions just between my sister and I. I'm just like, what do you think that they were trying to say here? So.
All right. Cool. Ryan, how about you?
So let me probably switch this. So it was actually just a movie that I got introduced to this year. It didn't come out this year though. Does that count?
Not really, but go ahead.
Important question. Did I introduce you to it?
No.
Darn it. I've
And I
introduced him to a lot of movies.
Yes.
That's why
that
he's
is
on that's why he's our uncultured swine.
Yeah,
You didn't see Spider-Man No Way Home.
I did.
Okay.
He did.
It was
He did
really
see
good.
it.
Okay, good.
Yes. That is on my list. The Spider-Man movie. It totally. It was an emotional roller coaster. With. Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
With one of the characters. I don't know who saw it, so I probably won't spoil it. But everyone in this room has seen it, so. But the movie I'm gonna mention. It actually came out in 1997, but I just watched it last year. Or, well, I mean, not last year.
2021. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's called Princess Mononoke.
Oh, okay.
Studio Ghibli.
Yeah.
Ghibli Studio.
Yeah, it is fantastic.
Mhm.
And it has a fantastic film score. The art is gorgeous. And the storyline, it is awesome. And have you guys, has anyone seen it?
I've seen
Yes.
it, yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's honestly one of my many favorites. And then let's
Running
see.
low on time, Ryan. We gotta.
And I hate to rush you, but yeah, we're getting,
Yeah, we
we're
got.
getting down there.
We need it. We need it now, or we need to start the cameras over.
The second one is Free Guy.
Okay.
Good.
Good.
Yeah, Free Guy was awesome. I laughed hard. And then the other one is Fast and Furious 9.
Okay. Got two people who
And
like that.
then,
I did introduce him to that franchise, just saying.
True.
Yeah, that's all I can think of at the moment. But
Right.
All right. So, favorite movies for me, at least 5. Sing 2, A Quiet Place Part 2,
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
God, about that.
Spider-Man Far From Home.
Good.
I mean, No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home. I did see that this year. Sorry about the wrong titles. Land. That's the movie I feel like not a lot of people have seen. Robin Wright. Jenny. That's her. She starred in it and directed it. Very well made. And Dune. So Devin and I are in the complete opposite.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I understand the perspective, I do, but I saw it as like I was just bewildered by it. I was just like, holy moly, this is really well made. And I didn't get everything, but I was so interested in it that I was gradually capturing everything, so I could understand it a little bit better. So, yeah, I'm one of the people who thinks Dune's like a great experience. Yet, yes, there are other things that are like Spider-Man Far From Home. That was probably maybe more fun to see
You
in
mean
theaters. What did I say? Far From Home again?
You did.
It's gosh. No Way Home. Freaking No Way Home. So yes, that was probably the most fun. Although I really enjoyed watching it with some friends and seeing Dune. That was really fun also. But yeah, like the few times when you get to go to a movie theater and experience other people's reactions at the same time, like gasping and everything, like yeah, that's great. That's just really fun.
I think that's one of the things I loved about seeing Free Guy so much.
Oh yeah.
Because we were in a pretty full theater down at the Park City Redstone.
Uh-huh.
And just so many people like laughing, reacting all the same. Like the joke when Ryan Reynolds had Captain America's shield. I actually,
That was great. That was freaking great.
that one,
was
when that came up,
fantastic.
I stood up and I applauded.
Wait, you actually stood up?
I stood up and I
stood up.
applauded. We were in the top row, so it was okay. It was just
I
such a
remember.
good one.
So Chris Beckman always says no one ever does that, and I'm like, hey, what if we always did that?
I remember when you did that.
Thank you for sharing that. That was wonderful. Okay. All right, guys. So we've gone through it all. Now we're gonna get into the top 10 guest entertainers of the world. Unless, is there anything else? Last minute, last call. Is there anything you'd like to say about 2021 that you just thought was great, or we all good?
No.
All right. So here we go. Pan Dutch, we need some music to cue it up. And then right after the list, we're gonna have Pan Dutch play some music, and we're gonna enjoy it. Thank you for staying tuned. Ryan, was there anything we needed to get to with the audience over here?
No, we just have 2 comments. It was from Good Nice Simmons. He
Oh,
just-
Jidoni?
Donnie.
Yeah.
Yep.
What did Jidoni say?
First one is Devin, haha.
And then come out
That
to
could
Jody.
mean anything.
And then, number 2, same comment, same guy. Hi, Devin.
Okay.
All right.
We love you, Jidoni.
Friendly
Thanks for tuning in.
gesture.
Alright, we love Jidoni. Great guy. Alright. Bandits, you ready? And guys, brace yourselves. If you disagree, that's fine, but I'd love to get some insight, some reactions. Let's go with the top 10. Yes for the year. Let's raise it up a little bit. Want a little bit more energy. Alright, here we go. Number 10 spot for the yes. I'm including Andrew Clavin. Now, hold the phone. Some of you might be saying, Garrett, you can't include him. He's a political commentator. That's right, he is. But before he did that, he was an author, and still is an author, and always was writing screenplays and a whole bunch of other things. This year, the thing that he did really well is he started reviewing movies that were current. And he also talked about topics like the best Halloween movies, the best Christmas movies. Everything was very precise. I'm not saying I agree with everything he was saying, but it was very in-depth. It was very good. He knows what he's talking about. He's been around the block for a while. He always has this phrase called "Save the Clavin" because of how old he is. He really isn't that old. He's going to be okay for a while, I think. But he did that. He also wrote a book, Christmas crime novel, which I need to get to. I can't include it here. That's why he's only at number 10.
I have actually read it. It
You
was
have?
very, very good.
Glad to hear. I've got it. I started reading it.
It was awesome.
Okay.
I didn't include it in my top 5. I mean, not
Top 3. Yeah.
top 3. Because those top 3 were...
Yes, they're great for you.
If I had a 4th, yeah, I would have added.
Then I need to get going on reading it then. Alright, so we got the Clavin on there. Let's move on to number 9. Number 9 is none other than T-Pain!
Yes.
The reason T-Pain is on this list, this is one of those artists that I mentioned that was under the radar. T-Pain. He has a Twitch channel that has been taking off really well, and the best thing about it is that he's basically explaining everything about the music industry that the music industry doesn't want you to know about. He talks about things about how you release a single and say, I just dropped this. He's like, no you didn't. You've been preparing that for 3 months. You didn't just drop this all of a sudden. So he's basically just speaking truth to a lot of things. He also, as Tanner alluded to, made the best, funniest video of 2021. To me, it's funnier than Free Guy. It's funnier than any comedy I've seen this year. It is just, for me, like, I've watched it, 50 freaking times
We
now?
watched it so many
And
times.
I still get the biggest kick out of it.
Period, question mark.
Devin, never mind. Well, we'll just go with it. You want to turn that one around real quick? I think that one might have died actually.
Oh, alright.
Alright, so we got that.
There you are,
going on.
now we see you again.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, alright, just make sure you're standing over here. Okay, we got the list. Is it still working? Okay. Nope, yeah, battery just died. So, alright. We're going to continue on. This one's still working. So we're going to keep going on with the list. Sorry for the little delay there. Alright. Continuing on with the number 8 entertainer of the year, we have Giannis Antetokounmpo. He finally won a NBA championship for the Milwaukee Bucks. A lot of people have been pressuring him to be able to request a trade to move to a bigger market. He said, no, I don't want to do it that way. I'm not going to be ultra friendly with all the other players, and I just want to have some fun. Just want to be able to get this done right, and he finally brought the championship. He also scored, I think correct me if I'm wrong, but at least twice, there were games where more than 50 points were scored by him, and he hit some awesome dunks. Also, this doesn't matter as much, but it's like a little cherry on top. He got the MVP for the NBA All-Star Game, which was pretty cool for him. Alright, let's move on to the number 7 spot, Porter Robinson.
Yes.
Now, the reason I have Porter Robinson on here probably more than a traditional mainstream person is because he probably made the antithesis of all the other bad music that I didn't like for the year. Yeah, if we want to move it over to the other side, that could work. We're just using audio on this side. That's alright. Alright. Got it moving over there? And just keep it centered between us. So Porter Robinson, yes, made my favorite album of the year, but also his performance was wonderful. I know probably not everyone got to see it, but if you see his YouTube concert, it's amazing. And it has some of the best lighting, it has really great graphics, and it just hit all the right notes and chords for that emotional lift up. So, I don't know, I just have to give him a spot here. Probably not the most mainstream thing, but he did the right thing with music. Alright, let's move on to the number 6 spot. I'm going to give this one to Lionel Messi. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't follow the soccer side on Europe all that much, but Messi had a really good year despite him having his little fallout and release with Barcelona. He got a lot of championships this year and he's moving on to a new team. He's staying fresh. He's getting up there in age, but he's still able to win and bring it for himself and his fans. He's just being able to continue to find success at his age. So I have to keep him here. Number 5, Richard Branson. The guy went to space. He freaking made a rocket and went to space. And then, what's the Amazon guys?
Oh, Elon Musk? Or, wait, Amazon? Oh, Bezos.
Jeff Bezos followed pursuit after, but Richard did it first. I think it was also done a little bit more cool. So I have to give him for the efforts in his pursuit in doing this. So congratulations to Richard Branson for being able to make it to space. All right. Number 4, we have Denis Villeneuve for the director of Dune. The reason I'm doing this here is because there are so many people who are trying to aspire and want to make quality movies. Whether you like Dune or didn't like Dune, it's really hard to complain that the movie didn't look good. Never mind if it was an incomplete, yes, there is a part 2, but the guy knows what he's doing, and I think everybody should want directors that aspire for this much ambition in their films. Alright, moving into number 3, we have Clay Travis. Who the heck is Clay Travis? Some of you probably don't know who that is. So Clay Travis was, still is, he's a sports commentator, for broadcaster, and he had a show on Fox Sports Radio. He also started his own company called Outkick the Coverage, which is Outkick overall. He made that a while ago, but he has grown an audience tremendously. He has been able to talk about both sides of the arguments when it comes to sports, and he's also been able to sell his company to Fox for a very, very large sum of money, so he's a very wealthy man now, continues to own his own show and be able to talk about whatever he wants within sports, and he's become so successful, and this isn't like an additional thing, I want to be careful how I say this, but is now the co-host of the replacement slot where Rush Limbaugh was. Yes, that's a political show, but you have to become super talented in order to be replaced, one of the legends and one of the most iconic figures in radio. So that adds a little cherry on top, but didn't do it enough in order to make him any higher than what we have right now. So that's number 3. Number 2 revolves around Dana White, the owner, the leader, fearless leader of the UFC. The first ginormous event in sports probably for the year, besides the Super Bowl, was UFC 261. He just doesn't care about a lot of the restrictions and rules that were taking place. He's been able to put on a lot of successful events this year, and he just he doesn't let anybody turn him down. He's able to keep everybody in check for what he does, and he just has been able to probably be one of the few owners that keeps things not just real, but also alive for what he is able to provide. And now, finally, the #1 entertainer is Tom Brady. Now, I'm, partial to Tom Brady. Like, I've never really needed to root for him in the past, but the fact that he left his home franchise after about 20 years, I believe, and in his first year with the Buccaneers, was able to win a Super Bowl. Also, he happens to have it at home, which no one has ever won the Super Bowl in their home dome, and had probably one of the best celebrations afterward, where he tossed the trophy at a boat party down in Tampa Bay, and was able to toss it, and someone was able to catch it, thankfully, and he's been just kind of on a roll, showing that he can be a fun guy outside of New England, and just the achievement in itself was just tremendous. No one thought he was actually going to be able to get it in his first year. No one really doubts Tom Brady's talent, but because of the achievement, for me, I think he lands the #1 spot here for Y.E.S Entertainers of 2021. Okay. Any additional comments on that?
I'm good.
I will say, okay, I did forget to mention a few honorable mentions. So, spoiler alert for No Way Home, Not Far From Home. Andrew Garfield and frickin' Tobey Maguire. Unbelievable.
So fun.
So great.
So good.
So good. Love what they did. All the villains that came back, Willem Dafoe, Jamie Foxx, like, it was really good. Everyone just put in some effort. I really liked it. Other people I could mention, let's see.
And it's Willem Dafoe, so that's no problem, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job of portraying the full-on creepiness and
Yes, very much so.
He actually did his own stunts, and that was...
Yes, that was something he said, I have to do this time around.
Yeah.
Other people...
Green Goblin, he is creepy.
Yes. I will include the Braves from baseball. They had a really hard time trying to win that championship, and they got down to it. A very underrated person I will mention super quick also is, let me find her. Her name is Beth. She runs a YouTube channel that reads children's books, and it was just really endearing, and she posted a book that was unjustifiably banned, and it's one of her more popular books now, so I applaud her for maybe unintentionally being a rebel, but she did a good job doing that. There's so many others I could mention. Oh, B-Boy Flea Rock at the Red Bull BC1. He did an awesome job. He did not win, but he did a freaking awesome job.
Oh, yeah.
So, Flea Rock, thank you for doing all that you did for that. That was awesome. I could go on. There's so many other people I could mention, but yeah. Okay. Well, guys, thank you for joining us. We're going to stop that one real quick.
Big button?
Yep. Real quick.
Big button?
Yep.
So my set is 30 minutes, just letting you know.
Okay. And
Much better.
yeah, we should probably just stick with the live stream then, if that's the case.
Okay.
So thank you guys for helping out with this. Ryan, bring the live stream over here. We are going to allow Pandush to play, and we're going to give him center stage over here.
Criminally unknown.
All right. Aaron, it's all you now.
Alright.
Pandush, the one and only. I'm going to let him do his thing. We're going to grab some grub and enjoy this music. You the man.
Turn the lights down.
Here we go. Lights off.